Hello, hello! With all the excitement of Season 2 firmly behind us, let's have a dispassionate look at what worked and what didn't work. To be clear, I was thoroughly entertained by this season, and I think you must really not want to like this show if you don't like it. In which case, just watch something else. Anyway, here's 6 good things and 6 bad things about Season 2. The first good thing was the expansion of the Wednesday universe. If Season 1 felt like it had 100 characters, then Season 2 had about 1,000. This made sense. We were already acquainted with several of the players, and there were at least 2 more seasons of stories to tell, not to mention we needed a new villain and some new villainous acts to be performed. The Willow Hill Psychiatric Facility was a top-notch second location, initially because of all the negative connotations psychiatric facilities in horror fiction bring, and then because it was genuinely scary. All in all, it was a very busy season, but the new characters and locations were both necessary and fun to watch. Now, having said that, and considering the choice of the season to have smaller mysteries than one bigger one, and a lot, small bads instead of a big one, it felt that we didn't spend enough time with its villains to get an emotional payout from their actions and or their demise. And also, the zombie ate quite a lot of them, negating their impact on the storyline. Hi, Dr. Fairburn. Bye, Dr. Fairburn. Hi, Dr. Gus. Bye, Dr. Gus. Judy, you haunted the first 4 episodes so well, and by the end of episode 5 you were done and dusted. That kind of thing. Season 1 had fewer villains, 2, but they were both more impactful. Tyler was a constant presence for 8 episodes, with a build-up as a real character with family issues and romantic teen angst. And Laurel Gates, with her credible backstory weaved in since at least episode 4, was also a villain that made us look forward to her downfall. In Season 2, only Isaac had a bit of a build-up, but honestly, as he spent most of the time in, this stage, it was hard not to just shrug him off. And sorry, the fact that Dort was brought down by the simple coordination of 3 teenagers makes him a pretty ineffective villain. Another excellent thing in Season 2 was the focus on the relationship between Wednesday and Enid. Enid is a popular and beloved character by the fandom, and for good reason. She is the key character for unlocking the emotionally constipated teenager that is Wednesday. She's there to roll her eyes at Wednesday's weirdness, and to show her the benefits of human interaction and building relationships rather than being an aloof loner. Which really frankly made the notion that she would die as per Wednesday's vision quite hard to buy, but that's another story. The body swap episode, a comedic trope that has been used to tell stories for decades, was really successful in cementing that relationship in a way that felt true, as it made Wednesday talk about her feelings when she normally doesn't. She had to this time in order not to die from Lady Gaga's stupid trick. I really enjoyed it, and it gave both actresses something fun to do. Now, the second thing that I didn't enjoy was that the show felt a bit padded. Undoubtedly, the show has a gorgeous look, not because of its very photogenic stars, but mostly because it's shot beautifully, with great framing, great locations, terrific direction. You can't do much with grey-on-grey CGI, but you get my point. However, it feels like that in search of a viral moment, a cool thumbnail, or an enticing teaser, the show sometimes prioritizes a cool look over internal consistency or plot development. Episode 3, which looked terrific and was entertaining, was so padded it almost had no plot development. There was a long tango at the beginning of the episode between Morticia and Gomez. There was too much time spent on that camping trip, including the capture the egg game, discussions between the boy soldiers and their drill sergeant, a music montage set to Billy Piper and Catherine Zeta-Jones singing, a very long sword fight between Morticia and Wednesday, and a very long zombie carnage. It was fun, but we got just 2 bits of plot development, the zombie being captured and sent to Willow Hill, and Wednesday finding those clippings in the bullpen. And why was the ghost of Professor Weems dressed as a nurse if not to produce an eye-catching clip for the second half of the season? Why was she so gleefully mean to a convalescent Wednesday? That was never part of Weems' character, who had always been a very serious individual. Storytelling devices are a welcome way of enriching the experience, as long as they don't take away from the storyline. Speaking of Principal Weems, her ghost was a top-notch addition. In a show called Wednesday, that is, about Wednesday, it could be easy to lose track of the fact that Wednesday, while pretty awesome and very gifted in her way, is also a very annoying teenager. She's impulsive, arrogant, and unable to deal with her emotions in a temperate way. Having Weems to be the voice of reason, someone that Wednesday could talk to, rather than monologue as he does with Thing, and someone that could credibly challenge Wednesday was a great move. And Weems was a highlight of Season 1, but one we would sadly not see again if she didn't get this ghost form return. It was also good to see her getting horrified by Dort, and certainly remind us of the positive impact that a serious adult in charge can have. The third bad thing of season 2 was the ghost of Principal Weems. My main gripe with the ghost is the amount of retconning and twists in the show's logic that had to be done to bring her back. Morticia tells Wednesday that someone from her bloodline would reach out to help her with her ability. That had been Goody Adams, who sacrificed her ghost self to reanimate dying Wednesday at the end of season 1. So we needed a new relative, and the show wanted to bring back Wim, so she got the job, despite no evidence of her relation. The show did lampshade that at the opening scene of the second half of the season, but my worry is that, toying with the internal logic of, yes, even a supernatural mystery comedy, may nullify plot development. Ghost Wims goes around jumping from psychic to psychic, having chats with Morticia, being able to interact with objects in the real world, have costume changes, and proclaim changes in visions. I mean, it was all very enjoyable and fun, especially the conversations with Morticia, but is that something a psychic guide can do? Are they omnipotent? Why didn't Goody use all that? The excuse that Wednesday's visions were glitching because of her broken relationship with her mother also doesn't fly. She's always had a broken relationship with Morticia, and her visions in the past were fine. Another excellent storyline that the season really sucked its teeth into was the relationship between Wednesday and her mother. It has been one of the most interesting storylines, giving an emotional backing to all the silly shenanigans. It has been allowed to develop without much drama, and I love how Morticia, understanding that she has a precocious teenager with great talents, who needs her own space and time, rarely tries to push things with Wednesday. The introduction of Grandmama Frump completes the Gilmore Girls, and along with the inklings of what has transpired with Ophelia, provides further insight into the family dynamics. It's delightful to watch. After all happy families are alike, each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. The fourth bad thing of season 2 was that we didn't get to spend enough time with Wednesday. While it's great to spend time with other people and everyone has their favorites, the show is after all called Wednesday, and its premise is that Wednesday is a young amateur detective out to solve mysteries that usually involve her or rather befall on her. Her detecting, which is at best not brilliant, is quite minimal in this season. Most of the work is done by Agnes, her grandmama, and Hester. Wednesday does some bits. She does break into the bullpen, but only after Agnes has smuggled all the dead sheriff's evidence. She finds what Lois is, but only after her grandmother has given her evidence that lead to Willow Hill, and Hester has done a lot of groundwork there. She gets her moments to shine, like when she smashes things with her axe. But I wouldn't mind a bit more detecting and consequently a bit more time hanging out with Wednesday. The fifth good thing about season 2 was the mid-season split. We all stand divided on whether television should be released all at once or piecemeal, but in this case the mid-season finale really upped the Wednesday game. A cliffhanger is a delightful television way of storytelling that you can't really use with the same effect in any other medium. The mid-season finale forced the creative team to deliver 4 really juicy first episodes that were not just an extended introduction, but offered genuine thrills, topping with Wednesday hurling through that window in the midst of an exquisite carnage. The break between the first 4 episodes launched a million theories, discussions, and speculation in the 4 weeks between the first half and the second half of the season. For a show that really invites and leaves off a fervent fandom, it was really a treat for the fans, and probably also for Netflix, as the discussion around the show carried on for a bit longer. The fifth bad thing about season 2 was that the mid-season split forced a cliffhanger. And like I said, I really enjoyed it, even if of course I didn't believe anything would happen to Wednesday. It was still a thrill to have that added jeopardy of seeing Wednesday lying on the tarmac. However, the 4th episode was so explosive and contained so much plot development that the rest half of the season felt a bit deflated. Think about it. Just in the 4th episode, Wednesday met up with her grandmother to ask for an assist, was attacked by the avian in the school, tasked her uncle with infiltrating Willow Hill, uncovered the Stonehurst conspiracy, introduced a mystery character, had another Hyde encounter, and there was that morning song background developments and mild teenage drama. Could anything top that? Honestly, I don't think the second half of the season did. In fact, most of the episodes were much smaller, finishing with an episode that was just 48 minutes long, including 6 minutes of season 3 setup, while all the episodes of part 1 were around 60 minutes long. My suggestion, being from the olden days of television, would be to plan and release the episodes weekly, which would allow for buzz to be created without the need for such pyrotechnics that would throw off the balance of the season. And Netflix would still get to attract viewers for 2 months. The best thing that Season 2 probably did was set plot lines with a lie for Season 3. It took 6 whole minutes at the end of Episode 8, when it was almost an afterthought in Season 1. It actually started building the future of the show from as early as Episode 1, with the first reference to antophilia. In fact, I would venture to say that most of the fans, including me, were expecting an appearance from the elusive aunt before the end of the season, some, including me, thinking that she would be the big bad of the season. But it was just a setup for Season 3. The Athelwulf storyline also started in the middle of the season and provided some emotional challenges for Enid, but really, we will see the true consequences in future Season 3 episodes. And Professor Capri also revealed her ulterior motive, aka recruiting a Hyde for her monster collective, at the end of the season, setting up another storyline for us to look forward to. And for my last bad thing of the season, just a mild complaint. While acronyms and anagrams are a cute way of winking to the audience, they really don't have to be silly. The Thing Night anagram would only have impressed 6-year-olds. The Lois acronym was borderline offensive. Why did they have to write it on that wall? It was only the Stonehursts and, I don't know, Dr. Fairburn maybe, that ever accessed those dungeons. Did they really bring in someone to do the sign? And I guess it was equally stupid of Laurel Gates in Season 1 to use an anagram to get close to the old woman that owned her old house. But probably nobody was gonna bother to check, and Laurel Gates was also a psycho. I'll give a pass to the Edgar Allan Poe anagram, Snap Twice, because I suppose it was designed to ensure that students could break the riddle, and snapping twice is an iconic Addams Family move. And that's all I have for you today. Let me know what you thought about Season 2 in the comments. And if you enjoyed watching this, please consider liking or subscribing. As always, thanks for watching.